welcome. My name is Anna Larramendi. I'm one of the board members for the Society for Shamanic Practice, and I have a couple of videos today that I wanted to share with you about protocols for discernment and healthy boundaries with spirits and guides. When we're on a journey of learning to work with helping spirits and communicate with helping spirits, there are certain protocols we want to follow to stay safe, and part of that is vetting the guides that we work with. It's important to understand that beings of light are in service to us. They care about us. They want to help us. They don't judge or criticize or try to control us. They honor our sovereignty, and they don't interfere with our journey on our path on earth. So whether you receive your spiritual information through meditation or channeling or shamanic journeying, the most important thing for you to do is use discernment and vet who are you receiving information from. Do not assume that all contacts are safe and of the light. I know that for people who are learning to journey, sometimes it's, you're struggling to learn to receive information. It's important to remember we receive information sometimes through visual things, sometimes through auditory things, our clairvoyance, clairaudience. And that also what's important to know is that people who are very open and are naturally psychic tend to start receiving information sort of out of the blue. And you may be very excited that you're receiving this information, but who are you really communicating with? And I think what's important is to ask and confirm that the being that is communicating with you is someone you want to communicate with. So one of the things I always teach my students in the first shamanic journeying class that I offer multiple times a year is the important question to ask to discern. And write this down. I'm going to repeat it twice. You would want to ask any being that's trying to communicate with you, are you a divine, compassionate being of light? Are you a divine, compassionate being of light? You should be able to ask this 3 times, and you should get a very clear, definitive yes, without hesitation, without pause. Beings of light don't need to hide who they are. They are completely upfront and will say without offense, yes, I am a being of light. So you want that really clear yes. Here are the things you want to be careful about. Here are things that would be signs that maybe this being of light is not that helpful. One would be asking the question, are you a divine, compassionate being of light? And then there's this long pause, like a hesitancy, or maybe silence. A divine being wouldn't hesitate at all. If there's hesitancy or silence, that's a red flag to you to be a little more careful. Another response might be answering your question with a question. Are you a compassionate being of light? And the spirit saying, who do you think I am? That's not really answering your question. It's sort of a diversion tactic that is keeping you away from getting a clear, definitive answer. Another trick that certain beings will use is that they will refer to themselves as a deity. So if you're asking the question, are you a divine, compassionate being of light? And their response is, I'm Jesus, or I'm God. If you have a religious background, you have perhaps been taught that you don't question God. You don't question Jesus. But if it really was Jesus communicating with you, he would have no hesitation in saying yes. But if their answer is, I am Jesus, they are hoping that you will just trust that and assume that they're speaking the truth. And I see this a lot. I see a lot of people entangled with spirits that have told the person that they're something that they're not. And you don't realize it at first because they seem to be helpful, but over time, there seems to be things that start seeming a little off. If you get those hesitations, you are under no obligation to continue communication with the spirit. You can just simply say, I am not in agreement to continue communicating with you, and just cut it off. You have a right to set boundaries with the spirits. And beings of light will respect your boundaries. Beings that are not of light may push your boundaries. So you should be able, your helping spirits will totally understand. If you're not feeling comfortable about something, you say stop, they'll listen. And just having this protocol will do so much to protect you, because the trickster spirits are not going to bother somebody who regularly questions. They will see you not as easy prey or an easy target. So ask, are you a compassionate divine being of light? And make sure you pay close attention to the response. That's going to help you a lot. Thank you.